It is 6 o'clock. I'll call this September 19th meeting of the Andalusia City Council to order. Ask you to stand and join Councilman Mount as he leads us in the prayer and pledge of allegiance.
May we pray. Father, we're so thankful for our freedoms. We pray that those families that were impacted by the recent hurricanes, we pray for them. We pray that they continue to gain strength to overcome adversity. We pray that these happenings can further unite our country. Lord, I know that you are powerful and greater than any trouble that might come our way.
Amen.
I trust that you will carry us through these times. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our second meeting of September. Remind those who may be watching or listening that we meet on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, with the workshop starting at 5 o'clock upstairs in the conference room, and then the regular business session starting here in the council chambers at 6 o'clock. We invite you to come join us, and you're welcome to do so. Members of the council, our first item of business would be to consider approval of our minutes for our September 5th meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes as written.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Powell to approve the minutes as written. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
A second by Mr. Mount. Is there any further discussion, questions, or comments? All in favor of approving the minutes as written, please indicate by raising your right hand. And that carries, and I thank you for that. Our no unfinished business. Under new business, we have outside agency appropriations for the remainder of the fiscal year 2017 to be approved by Resolution 2017-27. And this is the amount of $113,956, and this money will be sent out this fiscal year to these agencies, and that will end our responsibility for those agencies for this year. So I recommend to you that we approve the resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2017-27, outside agency appropriations to complete the payments for this fiscal year.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Wells to adopt the resolution as described. Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Sconyers. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All in favor of adopting the resolution, please indicate by raising your right hand. And that is approved, and I thank you for that. Our next item of business is to consider approval of our 2018 fiscal year budget, which starts on October the 1st. We always try to get this budget approved in September of each year, and we're going to try to do that again tonight. I will comment that there's been an awful lot of work put into this budget process by employees, department heads, financial officers of the city, as I said, council members, the mayor, the city treasurer, and city clerk. And I think we have a budget that is outstanding, and I'm going to cite a couple of things, two or three things about it to demonstrate in my mind why this is an excellent budget. The 2018 budget's operating expenses is only 1% more than the 2017 budget. In other words, this next year's budget is only 1% more than this existing year's budget. But what's really impressive about this budget is it's 3% less than the 2015 budget. So we've basically gone 3 years here with level budgeting, and that's pretty astounding and unusual and hard to find in today's world. I'm real proud of that we in the last 3 years have basically level budgeted for all 3 years. There's some reasons for that. The 2018 salaries, in 2018, the budget for salaries and wages is the largest expense for the city's budget. And it's roughly, those wages and salaries are roughly level to the 2017 year. That's important because in 2017, that budget year included a 7% increase for our employees for wages and salaries. So they had a very significant increase last year in their wage and salary level. So this year is basically level budgeted on that. We are currently working on a new employee performance policy that potentially could grant some one-time raises later in the year, but we'll bring that to you as we finish that policy and it's approved by you, and then you will determine if and how much we award in performance pay for in 2018. Also want to state, not including debt associated with the airport or the downtown projects, we have reduced long-term debt by $4.6 million since 2012. So in 5 years, we've reduced our long-term debt by almost, $4.6 million, not quite 5. That is a big pay down in our debt level. Since 2014, we created a capital account. We'd never had a capital account, a capital reserve account in the history of the city, except for one that was a kind of a one-time thing where we got some one-time money from Power South. But we created a capital account at the recommendation of our Standard & Poor's rating agency. And since that time, we have put $2.5 million into that account. In 2013, we improved the city's credit rating, since 2013, we've improved the city's credit rating 3 steps from a B+ to an A+, which translates into lower interest rates that we pay, insurance premiums relative to bond issues if we do a bond issue, and bond issuance cost or less. Standard & Poor's, which is one of the national rating agencies and the company that rates nearly all municipalities who want to be rated, in their July 11th, 2017 report, where they improved our rating to an A+, and I'm going to quote what Standard & Poor's said about the city of Andalusia's budgetary process. Quote, strong budgetary performance. Andalusia's budgetary performance is strong in our opinion. The city had operated surpluses of 4.1% of expenditures in the general fund and of 1.7% across all governmental funds in the fiscal year 2016. Over the past 3 audit years, the city has experienced a sizable net general fund surplus with a combined net surplus for those 3 years of $9.5 million, unquote. That is a tremendous accomplishment by this council and by our city employees and everybody working together to get that accomplished. It puts Andalusia in the strongest financial position that it has ever been in its history. During 2017, we rearranged the operations of several departments, and we amended our sanitation fee structure, which has had an immediate positive fiscal impact and will continue to do so for years to come. That's important because it points out that this council is willing to do and sometimes take hard steps to address fiscal matters with this city, to do the right thing. And it's easy to talk about doing those things, but sometimes it's difficult to actually do them. This council has worked hard to make sure that we do the things necessary to put the city in the strong financial position that it is in. So I'm really impressed with what we've been able all of us have been able to accomplish on the financial front for this city over the past several years. And I recommend to you that we approve this 2018 year budget as presented.
Mr. Mayor, before I make the motion, there are two other things that you did not mention in that.
All right?
But we did some restructuring within the street and the sanitation department that has reduced the amount of money that we were losing in recycling
Right.
and still maintain the recycling.
That's correct.
And we've also made some changes within our golf course,
Right.
which has reduced the amount of money that the city spends there, but at the same time maintaining the quality of the course for the people to enjoy. So those are two other things, and both of those have significant impact upon our budget this year and going forward.
That's exactly right. And again, that's detailed reference to what I meant, that y'all have taken steps that directly impact in a positive manner the fiscal position of this city. And sometimes those steps are not easy to do. And we've had to work hard to identify the areas where we could make some changes without impacting the services that we present and have available to our citizens, but do it in a financially sound basis.
Right. So that commendation to the people that have worked through that. Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution 2017-28, the fiscal year 2018 budget.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Powell to adopt the resolution approving the fiscal year 2018 budget. Do we have a second?
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
We have a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any further discussion, question, or comments from the council members on this issue? All in favor then of adopting the resolution, please indicate by raising your right hand. And that is unanimous, and again, I thank you so much for that. We have a request for a state Alabama alcoholic beverage control nonprofit tax-exempt single event license. This is, the request is from the Alabama Wildlife Federation for an event held at the Covington County, which is known as the Covington County Wild Game Cook-Off. I'll get it right in a minute. That's held in November, I believe. The 9th of November at the arena out at the Covington Arena. This again is a one-time event. We asked the chief and the captain at workshop. This has been going on for a number of years. This event has, and they've had a license each of those years, and they've had no problems with respect to it. So we need a motion and a second to approve this license.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this nonprofit tax-exempt alcoholic beverage license for the Alabama Wildlife Federation.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Mount. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Wells. Is there any further discussion, question, or comments? All in favor of granting the license, please indicate by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Abstentions? And it carries unanimously, not counting the abstentions. So the license will be approved by us, and then it's up to the board whether they issue it or not, I suppose, but it's approved by the city. No other business to come before the council tonight. We do have a couple of announcements to make. First, we have one opening on the Tourism and Relocation Committee. If you're interested in serving on is what we routinely refer to as the T&R Committee, please call and let us know or come by. That committee is going to be pretty busy the next year because we are about to celebrate, I forgot what the number is, 200 years or something since we became a state. Yeah. Is it 200 years? 200 years, not this next year, but the year after, I believe, right, will be the 200th year of statehood for the state of Alabama, unless you take out the years we was fighting the Confederacy, I suppose. But it's been 200 years since that time. So the governor put a task force together and ask municipalities and counties to come up with some programs to participate and draw attention to that and celebrate the fact that we're celebrating our 200th anniversary as a state. And so the T&R committee is going to be primarily charged with the responsibility of developing that like we did for several years ago when we had another celebration, I think was on our, I don't remember what that celebration was about now, but. Ma'am?
Your hometowns and downtowns.
Right. It was in 2010, correct. Okay, but anyway, that committee is going to be pretty busy and you're going to be called on to do some work, but we need your help. So if you're interested in joining or being a part of that, please let us know. I also want to report that on the evening of October the 3rd, starting at 6 o'clock, our police department will be having their annual community night out celebration down on Church Street, off of the square down to, I think the first, is that Opp Avenue that you're going to close there, Chief? So it'll be from the square to Opp Avenue will be closed. Those side streets by the police, by the fire department and so forth will be closed. And there'll be food, there'll be games, there'll be bouncy houses for the kids. There'll be some entertainment provided by our men and women in blue, and we look forward to that and invite you to come down and be a part of that. Again, that's October the 3rd. It's starting at 6 o'clock. Anything else to come before the council from council members? All right, hearing nothing, we will stand adjourned.